What's good, everybody? Whether you're here for the Trailblazer videos, the general car repair videos, or you're just seeing what I've been doing, well, today we're going to change the rear differential fluid in the Trailblazer and Envoy. Now, GM had a brilliant idea to have a drain plug on some of them and not on others, so we're going to address both videos here. First and foremost, we're not actually taking the cover off. There's already another video on YouTube for that, for actually, taking the cover off, cleaning the magnet, and all that happy crap. We're not doing it that way. So if you want to see the cover pull, watch his video, watch him put the wrong fluid in, watch him take the cover off without removing the check plug first, but you want to do it the right way, stay tuned to this shit right here. So my boy Rick stopped by and offered his 2006 Envoy to be used for the cover pull method. And I mean cover pull meaning we're just loosening the cover and pulling it back a little bit and letting all the fluid drain out of it. So we're going to go back, roll some footage on that version first. Enjoy. Let's do this. First thing on this Denali here, we've got it up on these ramps right here, give us a little bit more room, get the camera under there. Me and my buddy crawled under there earlier, and to be honest, there's no way that we can like fit under there without it being jacked up. So alright, so we're under the 06 Denali right now, and as you can tell if you look around, we've got no drain plug for the fluid. This right here is basically a 3/8 drive recessed plug right here. So to do your check, you just want to take your 3/8 ratchet, you know what I mean, get it up in there. Yeah. Now if you're just going to check the fluid, just like the front differential video, you can take your super awesome clear zip tie, go into the hole, just dip her down a little bit, and you can see this thing's just a little bit low. Now from the factory, sometimes they don't even fill them up all the way. So in cases where you bought the truck second or third hand, there might be nobody's ever checked that shit, you know what I mean? But if you really want to get a good idea, you can stuck that zip tie down as far as it'll go, and that'll show you that you definitely got something in there, you know what I mean? So that would be just for checking the fluid level, but we're actually going to do the complete service now, which is a glorified drain and fill. There's nothing really to this, but what we're going to try to do is loosen up the bolts and just pull the cover back far enough that the fluid will drain out of it. Got a 6.13 millimeter socket on a 1/2-inch drive ratchet, and we're just going to go around the world here and just bang these things loose. So as I started working my way around the bolts, we just started having a little bit of fluid leaking out, even without prying the cover back or anything. So just something to look out for. Just got a couple turns on each of the bolt and pretty much was able to drain everything. Many people have reported just reusing the old gasket. Now putting them back in, I do things a little weird.
Pattern.
Star pattern. Yeah, so
that's not weird.
I'm probably going to skip over, do like maybe that one.
I don't think so.
I don't really have a rhyme or reason to the order I put them back in, but you just don't go around the world one after another.
Are you just going semi-tight right now?
Yeah, just snug her up. Then we'll go back to that guy. We went around in a little pattern. We got everything kind of snugged up. Now we're just going to go around and do like our little double check. We're not going crazy with these things, man. Just hand tight. You know what I mean? Nothing. Not going to murder that thing. Since we've already got the cover situated flat, we can just go around the world one after another. Oh, Rick must have tightened that one up because I can't even move that shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, I did that one. Right? You can tell. No, Rick did that one.
It's okay.
You know what I mean? I can't even move it. All right, Rick, what do you think? Who did this one?
Me. Yeah,
oh yeah, Rick did that one too. So as you can see, we just went around. We're double checking, make sure we got all of them. Because the last thing you want to do is leave one of them fucking things loose. We're gonna get into pumping the fluid back in. A lot of you guys that watch the transfer case and the front differential videos, you've seen that pumper tool I was using, and I just said, you can go get it at AutoZone or whatever. I couldn't find it anywhere. So for this, we're going to use one of these more commonly available pump tools to transfer the gear lube from the containers into the differential. This thing was like 15 bucks. They got it like AutoZone, Advanced Auto, Walmart's, all that shit. If you really want to get super technical on that shit, you know what I mean? This is the Laren transfer pump. Transfer gas or change oil. So this guy right here, we got it just for that because like I said, you guys at home are having a little bit of a problem finding that one I used, the big, you know, pump, which I got from my Matco dealer, and you know, most average people out there, they don't have access to Matco. I just figured I'd throw that in there. So like last time, we're not going to show you what gear oil we're using. You know what I mean? Just get yourself a synthetic 75W90. There's a lot of good manufacturers that make it, and that's what you want to use, regardless of, you know, which differential that you have. All right, so we're just going to take our apparatus here and put her into the check/fill plug, and then we're going to start pumping. So we pumped in a little bit over 2 quarts. Now we're just going to let the rest of it drain out, because like the front differential and the transfer case, the bottom of the check plug is the fill level. So we're going to let the rest of that pee out of there, put our plug back in, and tighten her down. Alright, so we got this thing now. It's just a little drip coming out of there. Go ahead and run our check/fill plug back in there. So that's it. Alright, so you just saw that version. Like I said, his 06 didn't have a drain plug. Well, my 03 does, so we're going to do this one now. Alright, so we're underneath my 03. We have the check and fill plug right there. And you can't see it on there right now, but underneath this, there's actually another plug like this. So up under here is the drain plug on mine. You can't see it from the angle we're actually shooting this video at, but I just dropped the camera down here just to show you the plug itself. So this is what I was saying in the intro of the video, why that other guy's shit is just wrong and retarded. You got to take the check plug out first before you drain the fluid, because this thing can be a bitch. Now after we get done this, we're going to talk about this plug some more, but it's important to get him out first. The rest is pretty easy. Got my drain pan ready, 3/8 ratchet. And this about is what the fluid looked like when I first did this service at 75,000 miles. It just didn't look right. And I actually started a thread on another Trailblazer forum and said, you know, what the hell's up with the recommendation for this? You know, because it wasn't actually listed in the owner's manual. And we're going to talk about that at the end of the video too. So take a rag, wipe this guy off, get all the crap off of this plug. Go ahead and get that guy started back in there. Don't you know that's the sound of the man working on the chain gang? That's what it feels like when you do this. You ain't gotta go crazy with it. Just get her hand tight. I'm gonna post the torque spec in the description of the video, but I've been doing this shit long enough, I don't even do that. It's not gonna make a difference. One thing I did notice now, being under this thing with the suspension hanging down, if you noticed in the 06 Envoy video, we had the back tires up on ramps, and actually with the jack stands supporting the frame and letting the suspension drop in the back, the cover pull might have been a little bit easier that way. So something to keep in mind. Jacks over ramps, I guess. So plug's back in, it's tight. We just got to pump the fluid back up in that piece. Now I'm just going to take some brake parts cleaner and just clean all this off. He's tight, that's a wrap. So how often should you do this? Well, there isn't a recommendation in the owner's manual. It just basically says it's a lifetime fluid, which personally I don't agree with. The majority says 100,000 miles. Personally, I say 75,000. The guys that tow stuff or use the Trailblazer in extreme conditions, they also use a shorter interval for doing the change. As far as how much would you save, well, I've seen quotes as much as $220 just for doing what we just did right there. Both methods. One of the fucked up parts about that is, you know, a lot of guys will just have an apparatus that they stick a hose down in there, suck all the fluid out, and pump new fluid in. And it can take them under 10 minutes to do what we just did. So a $220 price tag on that is just a complete ripoff, you know what I mean? Now, stubborn plugs. Unfortunately, I guess, well, fortunately for me, but unfortunately for you guys, I didn't have a stubborn check plug. And there's a couple different ways you can deal with a stubborn one. Sometimes you got to smack that thing with a hammer good once and then try to loosen it. Other times, you got to get the fucking torch out and put some heat on that thing. I read a post somewhere where the guy said, no, don't use MAP gas, you need to use oxyacetylene. This stuff works fine. Now, some people have taken like a common 3/8 extension. You can see how it's kind of rounded here and rounded here. What they'll actually do is they'll grind that thing perfectly smooth. And what they're doing is they're getting a full bite into that plug, because like I said, some of them can be super fucking tight, you know what I mean? Now, I got this from a Mako dude. Shout out to Sean Henry, you know what I mean? And this is specifically made for those 3/8 square drives. You can see the top of it is perfectly flat. It's going to bottom out in the check plug, I mean thoroughly, and it's even got a 1/2 inch drive. This one just came out on their ADV line. So, something to keep in mind. And again, you can see the difference here with the two next to each other. You know, what those guys who grind this down are actually trying to duplicate, and it's this. So worst comes to worst, get your 1/2 inch drive breaker bar, put this guy on there, you know what I mean, and you're going to be able to bust some fucking check plugs loose, you know. Even the 3/8 ratchet still has, you know, a little bit less contact than the tool made for it, you know what I mean. While we're talking about differentials, just going to show you guys something real quick. Now if you want to know which gear ratio you have, or if you have the G80 locker, it's right here in your glove box. If you still have this little sticker right here, you're going to find a series of 3-digit codes, and it might not mean much to you, but you can actually Google each one of those and see what it means. If you have GT4, that means you have the 373 gears. If you have GT5, you have the 410s. If you have GU6, you have the 342s. And if you have G80, you have the locker. I'm not going to get all into the locker and how it works and all that crap, because personally, differential stuff just doesn't interest me. I'm actually bored talking about it. So I think we covered everything, but there is one more thing I'm going to talk about. Maybe I took a shot at that dude or whatever. I did some research and I watched the other guy's video, and it's just like, why the fuck would you tell people to, you know, here's taking the cover off, and then get into taking the plug out? I mean, taking the check plug out is critical. And then, like a lot of other motherfuckers that make Trailblazer videos, he's going to use the wrong parts in the shit. You know, what the fuck's up with that? It's not like I'm trying to pick on the guy or whatever, you know what I mean? That's good what he's doing for his business or whatever. Since he sells parts and shit, that's why he's out there doing it. And I guess while we're on the subject, you know, there's been some guys that have been, you know, trying to do what I do as far as the Trailblazers. Biggest thing is, you know, people coming out making spark plug videos for the i6 Trailblazers. You know, one of these dudes took a shot at me, you know, saying, oh, well, you know, you didn't have to show all 6 plugs being removed. Well, yeah, he said all 6. Well, there's a reason why. A lot of what I do a lot of research. I've been on the forums a lot. People have said they've had problems with plug number 1, plug number 2, 4, 5, 6. I showed them all. That way everybody knows that every plug is doable, you know. So to come on and say you shouldn't have showed every plug, you know, it's boring because I showed every plug. Fuck you. And another thing these fucking retards are doing is using the wrong spark plugs in this motor, you know. I'm the only one that said use the 41103s, and there's a reason why. They're designed for that engine. Some people wanted to say, well, I'm using the Autolite Iridiums. Well, you know what, to all you other guys in your videos for the Trailblazers using the Autolite Iridiums, I went to an Autolite class, and the instructor was very specific about not using Autolite plugs on GM coil unplug ignitions. If a representative of a company is going to suggest not using their stuff, there's a reason why. You know, it's just not meant for it. Maybe they do offer for that application, but they're just in it for the money, you know what I mean? And then you go back and motherfuckers ask them questions and shit. You don't hear nothing back. There's no service after the sale. That's why I'm #1, you know what I mean? I mean, that's for real. And I'm definitely not a hater, because I made my own playlist that's featured on my channel for other people's do-it-yourself Trailblazer videos. Meaning, I watch what y'all are doing, and if I like it, I'm going to promote it, you know what I mean? It's not like I'm trying to corner this shit doing what I do. In fact, if y'all remember in the HID video, I mean, I put up another dude's video, you know, because he did shit the right way. So, like I said, it's not just, you know, everybody needs to stop doing what they're doing, but if you're gonna do it, try to do it better than me, and good luck. So I hope you guys like this. For the people that are now watching my videos just to see what their boy's been up to, I hope y'all like what you see, you know what I mean? Fuck y'all. I guess it kind of leaked out what I've been up to. You know, people been tuning in just to see what's going on. Now, stay tuned, because coming up next, we're going to be showing you guys how to remove and reinstall the door panels on a GMC Envoy. As always, if you like what you see, subscribe to my shit.